And then we had a little bit of a bombshell during Super Bowl week in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas mayor said that the A's should probably try to make it work in Oakland and that the plan doesn't make sense, which sounds really fucking familiar because
Well,
we've been saying that for 2 years on this
you,
show.
you know what's funny is made that call, or somebody in MLB made that call and made her. Can
Yeah,
you
she
please walk
started
that back?
yeah, walking it back, moonwalk, baby.
The thing is, though, when she walked it back, all she said was, "We're excited to potentially have the A's here," and then doubled down on her original comments. If
Yeah.
you read what she said and look up the video of what she
Mhm.
said they're still excited to have the possibility of MLB, but then doubled down on the shenanigans and
What
lack of plan.
what I
So,
liked about the video was how they were able to crop out how she was holding up a newspaper with today's date on it, you
right.
know, like a hostage.
So,
God.
I mean, it just, there's just been so many issues with the plan to go to Las Vegas. I think the sound of fans and citizens that I think there is a fandom that wants a Las Vegas team, MLB team, and it sounds like they deserve a team. But I think the best route is expansion. And I think other MLB owners, why would you want to sacrifice a relocation fee and at the same time losing an expansion market? So you're leaving so much money on the table. Additionally, if John Fisher moves, there was a plan that he was going to go to Sacramento. If he goes to Sacramento, NBC already said we're not paying you that money. You're not in
Yep.
the Bay Area market. So
Yeah,
now
they'll
you're
have to
now you're losing to
renegotiate.
$70 million. You're going to lose that. They're not going to give you 60. They're not going to give you 50. So whatever I think a good percentage difference would be look at something. I know the Warriors are championship right now, but look at something that the Warriors are getting and what's the percentage discrepancy of what the Kings get, because that's based on a regional market. Those contracts were signed a long time ago, and you could see the percentage difference, and I think that would give you a ballpark of how much lower the A's would get because the
Mhm.
ratings that you're going to get in Sacramento, Utah, or anywhere else is going to be significantly less than what's the Bay Area market is. So you're losing money. John Fisher clearly has no plan. How many stadiums has the A's have announced? There's San Jose and Fremont, Laney, Howard Terminal. I mean, it just
There
goes
was
on
some
and on and
yeah.
on and on and on. You ain't gonna get shit done.
Yeah, I mean, they're so excited to get out of Oakland, like that they're throwing away $70 million just
Right.
to get out of Oakland. And that's the only reason why I believe that this is actually still going to happen, why they are going to end up leaving is because if they're this anxious to get the hell out of our town and they're willing to sacrifice $70 million to do it when the man only spends 50 million on payroll, it just tells me that they're done with us and they don't want our money anymore. And for that,
Well,
I say
I
fuck
mean,
you.
he wasn't going to get it anyway. So the way he wanted it, he wanted all of the money, not a portion of the money.
I think the
I'm
only way the city of Oakland would have had a chance at retaining the A's is a blank check. He wants all of it paid for. The tax incentives. There was the talk of the rezoning of tax districts and things like that. That the A's wouldn't have to pay taxes, and a tax credit would go to them to help pay off their loans and blah 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 blah. It just, he wanted a blank check. He wanted it all built on other people's money. And to me, it's as if he wanted to risk the Oakland General Fund. That to me is
Yeah,
what's really suspicious about all of this
yeah.
is that the city of Oakland has secured more money than Las Vegas. Uh, and it doesn't, nothing adds up. There's no plan there, so
The
I
the
get where
more
you're
money
coming from,
came.
Vince, but at the
What?
same time, I said I get where you're coming from, that he
Mhm.
may not wanna be here, but at the same time, he may not have the ability to put a deal together anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, and if this thing goes past, like, if this is
May, I think at
next
this point,
year,
May. Yeah.
if it's this time next year and you don't have a deal in Oakland and you don't have a binding deal, because he signed an agreement and there's a vote, but there's not a binding contract for Las Vegas. There's no binding agreement because they don't have a stadium plan. They don't have architecture plans. There
Right.
is no, he doesn't have financing in place to
Oh, I
fund the
know.
additional money. So
I know. And that's
until
why it
the
does not
stadium
make
is
sense.
under construction, I don't.
Well,
No,
so
I mean, what I think is going to possibly happen if John Fisher's this thing, if he fishers this up, I think Salt Lake ends up being the backup plan, and then he sells to the fucking Ryan Smith or whoever it is out there, and then the team goes to Salt Lake because I genuinely think Manfred is done with Oakland, and they don't want the money to come from the way that Oakland secured it. Like you said, I think they wanted to make sure that the city of Oakland is on the hook. But because Oakland was able to get grants from the federal government and from the state government, and they were able to put together the pieces to make improvements without risking the city of Oakland's fund, and that's like, no, I'm not fucking you over good enough. You know, I need you to owe me. That's what I think this has come down to.
I agree. I
so
agree.
they have until May, right?
I would say May, probably the end of May is to get whatever they need to get figured out for 25, 26, and 27.
What I mean is May for the location because it's getting torn down no matter what.
Well, it's going to take about 8 or 9 months. So basically through the end of the year for like all the demolition and cleanup and everything to happen on the Tropicana. So for it to become a completely flat, empty lot, it's going to take about 8 or 9 months. So I would say they probably have about 5 months.
I would say less than that.
I'd say it's probably less than that. I agree.
I'd say he needs to come with a plan in May. He needs to come with a plan in May because Bally's going to be like, I'm tearing this down. I need to know if I'm tearing this down, I'm going to build something.
Oh, yeah, no,
if I don't have anything, I'm moving on. I've got to go.
I would say probably mid-June, maybe something like that.
Yeah, to go to Salt Lake. Watch
out for this
maybe.
Flag Day. Watch out for Flag Day.
I think Salt Lake is a realistic thing too. But at this point, I don't understand how. Okay, I generally this is what I don't understand. If I'm an owner, right, and I make money off of all my owners being successful just as much as I am, right? Because we bring in more money, more revenue sharing for all of us, right? How do you allow a commissioner who's supposed to make you money allow this to happen for so long when you're supposed to already have 2 expansion teams to, let me get this straight, expand the revenue sharing because you got 2 more teams now in the mix, but you can't because you need Tampa Bay and you need Oakland, or at least the A's, to finish up their stadiums. And guess what? They haven't finished up their stadiums. So how, as an owner, do you go, Manfred is the best man for the job. He's making us a bunch of money. We could make more, but he's doing just damn fine with what he's doing with these 2 teams.
I think that's kind of the problem with baseball, where you look at the NFL, right? You got Goodell, and you may not agree with his plans. You may not agree with how the NFL does things, but you get it. There's a plan. You understand, they how they do the draft. They're the best at monetizing the draft and the the scouting combine. They turn the draft into a 2-night primetime event where the first round is must-see television. The first round has its own night now.
Mm-hmm.
You may not agree with it. You may not like it, but you get the plan. You get the idea. I don't like the Peacock thing. I don't like how they're on Peacock and Prime and all these other streaming things, but I get it because I get the plan of getting money and that type of thing, right? I get that they want teams to have a new stadium because it guarantees a Super Bowl into the city, and you now know that Las Vegas is going to be in the routine. They're going to get another one very, I don't know, 7 years from now, something like that. They're going to be in the
it might be 4.
routine.
It might be 4 years.
Sooner.
Like it's gonna I think they're gonna come back to Vegas as often as possible because that city is turnkey for a Super Bowl.
Right.
They have the stadium
It's
now.
made. It's ready to go. So
I mean, everybody that was down there, man.
You also have the power guys as owners. You got the Jerry Joneses, the Bob Crafts. You have owners. Remember when the Raiders and the Chargers were trying to team up and they were like, we're going to go here. We're going to Inglewood. And then Jerry Jones and Bob Kraft said, nah. Jerry was like, you're going to Vegas. You're going to LA. Done. And it was done. I mean, it was game over. And the NBA, you kind of have something similar. Like Adam Silver seems like he's the owners respect him. I don't think he's the best publicist of the game, the best like speaking on behalf of the game.
Right.
He seems to be like a very coherent, cerebral commissioner that loves his sport, loves what's going on, is trying to grow the game, wants to try different things. But there's owners within the NBA that have power, have a voice, that get things done. Okay. And there's a few owners in the NBA that do that. MLB, name an owner that's like, you go here, you go there, you do this. This is what we do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're all John Fishers. I mean, for the most part, I would say half the league is more like John Fishers than, say, the Steinbrenner family. The Steinbrenners, like, I don't like the Yankees because I'm not a Yankee fan, but I respect the ownership of the Yankees. I respect the ownership of the Dodgers. I even respect the ownership of the Padres now for being all in, for trying to win something. I respect that, especially in a sport that's uncapped. It's like the softest cap in all of major sports. You can do pretty much whatever you want. Look at the Dodgers. But there's nobody really leading the charge of what's right for baseball, what's good for baseball. Manfred came out of the analytics division. He's the one that his pet project was MLB TV and MLB.com. He was the tech guy. That's what he was leading. So I don't, this is the same guy that said, the World Series trophy is a piece of metal. Does he love the game? It seems like, from Bud Selig to Rob Manfred, we've just had a slew of people leading baseball that don't truly love the sport or care about their communities. So I'm kind of like, this is to be expected. Half the league is John Fishers. Look at the clowns in, thankfully they just sold Baltimore, Pittsburgh,
the Angelos family. Yeah.
The Angelos family. You could go down half the league. They're looking for money from the government, subsidies. Milwaukee is looking for money to fix up their stadium where they just had it. It's not that old, and they need $500 million or whatever it is to update the stadium. So pay for it your damn self.
I know. You can make $500 million in the season.
You pay for it your goddamn self. Like, the government is not charity. We're not here to give away things. You put a good product on the field and the fans will support it. The fans will buy tickets and watch it on TV and buy the app and buy the merch and this and that. We'll put a damn good product on the field. Stop putting this dog shit loser out here.
All right. And
God, I'm so mad again.
I know. Every time there's a baseball note, we're like, okay, buckle up, guys, because we're going to go on a fucking ride,